Let's Chat About It is a thought-provoking podcast where your hosts Lenora Sneva and Max Brown engage in meaningful conversations with everyday individuals about the pivotal moments when they realized they were different.
Welcome back to Let's Chat About It. I'm your host, Lenora Sneva. I'm with Max Brown. And we have Nick Loekman, who is someone that Max and I used to work with during COVID. So that was kind of fun.
Yes.
And we got to meet him in
the
person
COVID
once.
part or like the Nick part?
No, just meeting Nick was fun.
Okay, good.
Nick. Yeah.
Yeah.
We used to make some really cool videos.
Videos, kind of like this.
Kind of like this. I know, right? Exactly. So that'll be great to bring him on and for y'all to meet him.
Yes.
But before we bring him in, Max, what's our question?
My question to you is, Lenora, you have access. But I might have to tell you that you don't get to do this person.
Okay.
If you answer this the way I think you might answer this, I'm going to tell you have to find somebody else.
Okay.
You can go to any concert in the world, see any artist you want. Who are you going to see?
If they're alive, are they alive or dead?
I'll allow. Let's go dead or alive, because I'm nervous that you were going to say Taylor Swift, and I was going to say no.
I'd say Prince. I saw him in concert twice, and it was the best concert I've ever been to in my life.
And you want to go back?
Yeah. More, please. So that would be. How about you?
I thought of this question, and then I didn't have an answer.
And you still don't. So
I don't. Well, I think I would say it this. Well, now, and I didn't think about dead or alive, so I think that sort of changes it. Who would I have wanted to see?
You seriously don't know any of the question?
I don't have the question. Well, I'll be transparent here. I was going to ask you your thoughts on the Usher performance, but I just don't think it's going to be relevant by the time we get to it.
Yeah,
so
it'll be over.
I was like, I got to swap this out and get you something new. And
I thought it was fun that he was roller skating, though. I like that part.
Oh yeah, but this is the question. Was he really roller skating? Because that floor, you see, like the floor had like movement to it, so it almost looked like he wasn't moving. But like, was he moving? Was the floor moving? Were they both moving?
We'll have to find out. It looked like the floor was gonna fall. It looked like there's too many people on the stage.
Oh, there was a point where it was doing a little bob and weave. Yeah, no, it was good though. I think what I would probably do, I would want to go to the Ryman Auditorium, which is in Nashville, Grand Ole Opry. So it's got to be a country artist, unfortunately. Sorry, but I don't know who I'd go see.
I don't know either.
Yeah, Lenore said not my genre.
No, it's not at all. I mean, I know like some current people, like Tyler Childers. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Maybe I go see Chris Stapleton.
Ooh, yeah, Chris Stapleton would be
good. I love Chris Stapleton.
That's a little like,
and you got a connection, right? Don't you?
I do have a little. Yeah, my sister's husband is from the area where Chris Stapleton and
went to high school.
Crystal Gale and
out in the Holla, Kentucky.
That's right, the Holla.
Out in the Holla.
Chris Stapleton. He was actually just here. I think he was in Spokane.
Yeah, or the Gorge or something. Yeah,
something like that.
I've heard some people who've gone and see him, and he's a pretty good performer.
No, he's got a great voice. He's got a good voice. So
oh yes.
All right. Well, let's bring Nick in and
absolutely
get to know him a little bit more. Do you watch Dateline, Nick?
I don't. I do not. But I do watch a lot of like Netflix. There's a lot of like serial killer documentaries now, and it's
about
it's definitely.
There's a lot of them from Washington.
Hey, we have our fair share, unfortunately.
Yeah, we do.
All right. Well, welcome to the show, Nick Loekman. So good to see you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Thank you for having me. Like Lenora said, my name is Nick, originally from Pasadena, California. And at 3 weeks old, my parents took me to Jakarta, Indonesia. Learn the culture and the language there. Most of my extended family, are still in Jakarta. Moved back to Ohio at 4 years old. Went to elementary school, then moved to Huntersville, North Carolina. Went to Wilmington for college, and then I went to medical school in Dominica, the great country of Dominica. Hurricane swept away, blew that out of the water, literally. Went to Wake Forest to get my master's in biomedical sciences. Decided, hey, I don't really like this. What are you doing? You don't know what you want to do. You get to business school, right? And then from there, I got recruited to Deloitte. 2 years later, 2.5 years later, here I am.
Awesome.
And
Well
you're
traveled.
living in DC, right?
Arlington. So
Arlington. Okay,
like
Virginia.
a mile and a half away of DC.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know where'd you go to medical school? Where was that again?
It was Ross University. They have a 2-year abroad program where you do your book work in Dominica, and then you come over to the U.S.
Where's Dominica?
I feel like this is a made-up country.
No. It absolutely. It's in the Caribbean. It's in the Caribbean.
Okay.
If you look up Dominica, it's not the Dominican Republic. It is Dominica.
Dominica.
Okay. Let's see.
How did you find that niche school?
Well, I wanted to travel abroad, but never really had a chance. Undergrad, I was a bio major, chem minor. I was super into the books, and I decided, this looks like a great opportunity where I can study abroad for 2 years and then come back, do my rotations in a U.S. hospital. So it kind of married the best of both worlds.
Got it.
Wow.
What kind of doctor did you want to be? Oh, sorry, I have all these questions.
No, I'm doing the geography. I'll do the geography quiz after this. So
okay.
I wanted to go into emergency medicine. I like just going into it and then leaving work and not having to, follow up with patients. I want to do my job. Next day is always a new story. I think a lot of internal medicine doctors, which are great, right? But your pediatricians, your family docs, you continuously see the people. For me, I just wanted to focus on my work, have a good day, move on to the next my next patients at the time.
So what you're admitting to is you have no bedside manner.
And a little bit.
And you're working as a consultant. So I love this.
Have you seen any of the Instagram consulting humor memes?
Oh, but apparently I need to now.
They're spot on.
All right. Awesome. So what I'm finding out is Dominica is a real place. Mm-hmm. It is north of St. Lucia, and it is south of Antigua and Barbuda. So it's definitely in the Caribbean, kind of southeast.
Or Barbados?
No, Barbuda. Barbados. It is northwest of Barbados, and it is southeast of Puerto Rico. It's kind of along that rim that kind of pulls itself up to the Dominican Republic into Cuba. Very cool. Very cool.
It's wild. I got some stories to tell you there.
Oh, really? Was that party area?
It was, but it was just to get to Dominica is its own thing. So you have to fly to San Juan, Puerto Rico, and then you have to take this propeller plane to get to Dominica. And there was a girl that had an accidental bowel movement while on the plane, and it just it was.
Welcome to Dominica.
Exactly. I mean, it was quite an experience just from day one. But
okay, it feels like it's in that area where anyone remember that Netflix movie, but that's also real life happened, like a documentary about those two guys that decided to throw a party on an island.
The fire
festival. Yeah.
Near that. It's like
it could be near. I don't know the island.
I don't know.
I thought that was in the Bahamas, though.
It was the Bahamas. Okay.
Yeah. But Lenora's already plotting. We're gonna do a Let's Chat About It festival in Dominica. That's
right. It's only
it'll be a documentary about it. It'll be great.
A little pyramid scheme.
Yeah, why not? We're gonna retire somehow.
Okay.
We're state employees. Give us a break. Government pay isn't great.
It's good to be back, guys.
Yeah, it's
great to be back.
I'm gonna ask the question that Lenora always gets to ask, and I never do, and that is, Nick, tell us about a time, or if maybe even possible, the time that you realized that you were different.
Oh man, so let me. Where do I start? Right, I think. It was always apparent, right, that I was different because all those places that I listed off, Dublin, Ohio, Huntersville, North Carolina, I don't look like the person that grows up there. I would say as a kid, it was probably one of my more painful memories at the time was when I was called Chinese face, in Dublin. It's just I don't know if it's out of ignorance or if it's if they really meant it. I doubt that it was meant to be like derogatory at the time. It was just they didn't know that's not something you could say. That was really the first time I was like, oh, okay. I knew that I looked different from them, but that was really the first like outward time somebody said that. And then throughout like growing up, it became less and less, it became more subtle the way they did it, and then I would say in middle school, they called me China. They equate everything in Asia as China. They didn't even ask, like, where are you actually from? And then in college, when there's like two different Nicks, they always said, "Oh, hey, Asian Nick."
Oh,
like,
no.
You don't. Again, at the time, I didn't think it was like a big deal. I thought it was just like blah blah blah. But now looking back, you don't call the Latino gentleman Mexican Carlos or Mexican Pedro. You don't call the African American, "Hey, black so and so." You just don't do that. I mean, those are little microaggressions that looking back now, it was apparent that it was probably not the most respectful name, even if it was meant or not meant as an insult.
Yeah. It wasn't meant as a way to be like, oh, this is how I differentiate you. This is how I make sure that you know that you aren't in the crowd.
And actually, it was funny enough, like after college, actually after grad school, during the summer, I worked as a bartender. And one of the guys said, "Hey, Asian Nick." And I said, "Hey, white so-and-so." And then he was like, "Oh.
Whoa.
Whoa,
yeah. I'm leaving a big tip tonight. Okay.
Yeah. Well, this is a coworker.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh.
And we were friends. Or again, like I don't think it was meant in a derogatory way. It was the lack of awareness, I think. And then as soon as I said that, it's like a switch, flipped, and then it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
One of the comments he made, funny enough, I remember I asked him like, "Hey, why don't you call me that? You call like the chefs, hey, Mexican Carlos, or hey, Black Antoine?" And he said no. And I said, why not? And he said, because they kicked my ass. And I'm like, so you don't
think I can?
Yeah, you don't think I can kick your ass? So, but it was
we take this outside.
Exactly. Behind the dumpster right there, behind the bar.
Yeah. Well, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Nick. I mean, this is part of, like, if I remember correctly, going through COVID, a lot of Asian American hate stemmed out of that because of the assumptions and the connections. But one of the other things I've heard quite a lot, read some articles even recently, but there's a kind of this notion in Asian culture in the United States of like, be small, be quiet. And then it kind of, that's kind of bred into then for like people like me, who was a white guy. It's like, I can sort of take advantage of that. To your coworker's example, I wouldn't say the same thing to somebody of another ethnicity, but to you, it's okay. I mean, is that something that you've like experienced in other instances as well, or was that kind of unique?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. It was don't cause trouble, put your head down, do good work, and then the rest will take care of itself.
Well, I think just like even thinking more about how was that brought to you? Was that something that you were taught, or was that something that you just kind of observed? And how did that impact you growing up in, I'm assuming, predominantly white communities?
Yeah, the thing that actually just jogged my memory are the comebacks, right? In middle school, when like somebody say something, you'd snap back like a quick.
You got you. Yeah, you always had to have. Yeah.
Yes. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. But looking at the way I grew up, right? My parents, English was their second language, so they didn't have like the street slang. They didn't have the comebacks.
So some stuff would just go right over their head because they're like, I don't understand the terminology or how I understand that literally, but you're not using that literally, and I don't get the figurative piece to it.
And I've just never seen my parents say that stuff like that, right? Lenore, we're talking about comebacks in middle school. And you'd say something, and then you'd say something just to defend yourself and kind of poke them back. Right. Because my parents don't speak English, like I've never seen that type of like talking back to even like friends. So I couldn't do it. And a lot of times like people would say things to me and I would just You know,
Just
like
take it.
I wouldn't know what to say. It's not just, it's not just taking it. It's like I wouldn't know what to say, like how to snort back. And then like 6 hours later, or when I'm taking a shower, now I'm just like, God, I should have said that.
Would have nailed him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's like something that that even like today, it's hard for me to like think of a comeback in the moment, you know.
Right.
But that's just an example of what maybe you meant by being small, just kind of taking it. That's probably one of the big reasons why a lot of Asian people don't talk back, is because they don't really know how to.
Yeah, and I'm kind of hearing there too is like for me, it's interesting. So my wife and I, we have one thing that we like grew up on polar opposites of. I grew up with a lot of sarcasm. Like that's kind of like a second language in my family. And for her, oh hell no. Like don't go there. And it's kind of the like if I don't, for her, she's kind of had to learn and grow, because it's like if you're around my family, you're just gonna catch it. But for her, for a long time, it's like I don't get, like, why would you say that? That's just really rude. And it's like, well, I'm just kind of poking fun. Like, but that's like,
Not funny.
that's mean. Like, why would you do that? And I'm like, because I like him. Like, why would you say something like that to somebody you like? I'm like, would you just stop ruining the moment? But it's kind of that, like, if you're not raised around it, it does not sound, you can't, it's a dialect. It's another language. It's
Exactly.
I don't understand. It's like coming to the South. I have no idea what some people are saying sometimes between the language they speak and the accents they have. I'm like, I'm going to repeat back what I think you said so you can say yes or no. Otherwise, I have no idea what you said. And it's a language. It's kind of, and it sounds like for you, that wasn't a language that was spoken in your household.
Exactly. Yep. That's a great way to put it.
Okay. Gotcha.
I think it was spoken in my house. My mom's she's pretty feisty. And so when I got called those kind of names, I'd come home and be like, Mom, and she'd be like, oh, here's what you need to say. So she would she would be like, no, here's what you're gonna say. And I'd be like, okay. So then I was almost like anticipating the racist comments that I was getting on the playground. And it would shut them up usually. I'd be like, well, blah blah blah. And they'd be like, oh.
You're like, please say it again.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But that's sad, though. I think it's sad that I had to do that. That you didn't have the words. That these kids have to act that way. Like it just makes me sad. And I'm glad that we've kind of moved past it. I think the kids that are growing up now, it's definitely less. At least for my kids,
it's a lot less.
It's definitely it's less, Max. Trust us, we know.
Bullies are bullies. I should say that, but bullies are bullies. Like, and I think that's
it's different though. It's not like it was before. Even in high school for my girls, or even when I talk to other girls that are girls, like it's just different. It's not as bad as it was when I was growing up in the 80s and the 70s.
It's not as blatant. It's more subtle.
No, it's more subtle. That's the biggest thing.
Even like when I talk to like my girls, will be like, Mom, if you said that kind of stuff, you would get canceled. Like literally, like if you made fun of someone because they're gay or because they're black or Asian, like people would be like, why would you say that? Are you stupid?
Yeah.
Like that's the attitude now. Like before it'd be like, oh, I got another racist joke. Let me tell that one. And it's like, oh, great. This is really horrible.
This is, Gotcha.
So one last comment, and then you guys can ask the next question. So it's funny you mentioned the thing about COVID, because when I moved to Virginia from North Carolina, I thought it was Northern Virginia, right? So it's more diverse. Fairfax County has a big Vietnamese population. My mom and I went to Target, and during COVID, there was an old lady that said, "Dirty Asian." Like, like just when we were about to walk out. That's probably one of the times that like I wish I said something back. But in the moment, like I just didn't have like the words, or I was just kind of in shock. Yeah. So I mean that stuff does happen even in big cities, and
that's what you need, an advocate. You need someone else like nearby that heard it, whether they're Asian or not, and be like, "What did you just say?" Are you kidding me?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Seriously. Oh.
That's Lenora. Lenora doesn't let that fly.
Oh no. I'll stick up for people. I don't care. It's not right. Nick, you call me next time, okay? If it happens, you call me.
I will
FaceTime.
call you. I'll be like, wait. Tell the person, wait, hang on. Let me FaceTime my friend right
Yeah,
here.
you need to talk to her. She's got some words.
Did you have another thought,
No,
Lenora?
you go ahead. You go ahead.
No, I just appreciate that. And I think the other piece of it too is it's like I think for me one of the things I really struggled with. This is gonna turn into a me podcast, so I'm sorry, Nick. And
Yeah,
I
don't do
don't
that,
mean to.
Max.
I'm
Not
trying
about
not
you.
to, but
Not about
no,
you.
but I think, just kind of bringing up this dialogue about COVID and I think bullying and how people treat one another, and I think kind of the natural instinct for us is the upmanship. It's like, all right, you knocked me, I'm just gonna come back a little bit harder, but like that's kind of I don't know. That to me is like the big problem that it feels like we're having as a society is it's just we're constantly rolling these balls of I'm going to keep going after you. So to some degree, I'm like, it's kind of a blessing that you didn't know that language because you didn't. I mean, personal experience. I got bullied, so what did I become? A bully. Like this is what I do to build myself up because I'm like this is all I know and all I experience, and this is the power dynamic. But I think if some. Oh, go ahead.
It's interesting you said that because I did use that mentality, but in a different way. I used like that one-upping each other, but through my studies and through my career. I would say like I work out 5-6 days a week now because I want to be better than those people. I am in the career that I am. I went to the schools that I went to. And when I look at them, I'm like, okay, I'm doing pretty well compared to how these people are doing. So it's, I don't know if it's the most healthy thing, but like, I do see where you're coming from. Yeah, I do understand that point.
And you're not an asshole. Like I think that's the thing. Is like because I think that's the. I mean, sorry for the language, but like that's kind of what it becomes. Is we just become jerks to each other because that's the language that we seem to speak. And I think. That's something I'm trying to figure out. I think, especially in like, let's be real, we're gonna have a year of fun with the election cycle, and how do we try to break those cycles of just being jerks to one another and actually listen and care and love and see people for who they are.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool.
So I feel like I'm getting my lesson here from Nick. Every episode I'm getting a lesson from somebody.
Yeah. Are you getting some good counseling, Max? You good?
Yes, I think so.
Okay, just checking in on you.
Usually am. So, yeah.
So Nick, tell us what you do now. Like, what's your job like, and what do you love about it?
Or what do you
I don't know
think you'd like to do in the future?
What's next for you? Like what are you thinking, like where are you going to be in 10 years?
That's such a loaded question because honestly, like I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. Every day is literally a black box. But I currently I'm a consultant at Deloitte, and last year I got promoted to senior consultant. So cool. I have a couple.
Congratulations!
Thank you. I have a couple of consultants and analysts that I oversee. Right now, I'm in another technology implementations. I am now on a technical team, not so much OCM and org change. I would say I do more coordination between the different work streams, just making sure that people, are doing what they have to, and if they're late, I send a little. I don't want to say a nasty gram, but I'm saying like, hey, you just wanted to follow up on this ask. It can be the job. I mean, I could sell it to you, right? I can sell it saying, we have a great lifestyle. We get sent to these all cool different places. I have the airline status, I have the hotel status, I have the nice dinners. But I mean, at the same time, like it can be lonely, traveling to areas when you're home only a couple days a week and then you're off again. I've sacrificed a lot of family holidays, family time for this job. I've been called on, big national holidays asked to, come on. And the hours, I would say it varies a lot, but right now we're in a very busy season right now, especially with everything that's been going on. And it can be difficult to balance, your diet, working out, your overall wellness versus, the client expectations and client demands, especially, the expectations of your team as well.
So you're not working like 40 hours a week. You're working 60, 70.
It's a good bit more than 40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think you want to do next though? Like once this ride's over, what else would you want to do?
I mean, it's kind of tough, right? Because every single consultant at one of these like big fours, the goal is partner. The goal is partnership. And whether it's like a status thing or if it's financial, it's actually for sure financial. There's a partner that he said the first year as a partner, he made 900. It was a good year, but it was 900K. And I mean, in a way, that's just attractive, right? You don't have to worry about anything. You can buy whatever you want. You can send your kids to whatever school you want. But it's a big commitment, right? So
it's a big trade-off, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a huge trade-off. And honestly, I don't know what I want to do in like the next 10 years. I could say like I could see myself at Deloitte. I could see that. I could see myself, switching to industry. I don't know. I would just say I'm waiting to see what opportunity opens up.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't have to work, or if you had enough money that you didn't have to work, what would you do with your time?
I don't know, because I feel like I'm a builder, right? Like my hobby is watching like CNBC, building like side gigs, looking at like investment. It's just like, it's the way I've been brought up. It's just, you always want to like continue to build wealth in a way, just so, okay, so now let's say I made a ton of money. I'm good for 2 generations, my kids and my grandchildren. What can I do to make sure that the 3rd, 4th, 5th generations continues to have the opportunities that I have, and they can do the job that they want and not have to, you know? So that's, I would say, something that's been like ingrained forever in my heart. But I mean, if I had $1 billion, there's no doubt that I buy the Ferrari, the cars, visit you guys once in a while,
just to show off the Ferraris.
Absolutely, especially for those bullies.
Yeah,
that's right. You see me now. One of the questions that we ask toward the end of our conversation is about like the young person that you were, right? So if you could go back to that young man, right, and recall those derogatory things, like what would you do differently if you could go back and kind of change it?
That's tough, because I don't know about the Dublin, Ohio kid, but if I was in college and in high school, I would say have more fun. So like I've been always so academically driven, career driven. Like looking back in college, like I wish I went out more, on the weekends instead of being in my room, learning about biochemical reactions and stuff like that. I would just say live a little bit.
A little bit more, yeah.
Yeah. Go out, have fun, don't get into trouble. Actually, a little bit of trouble is okay, but stay out of jail. Put it like that. Stay out of jail.
Good.
But go ahead, have fun, be in a little bit of trouble. And I wish that, like, what I would tell my kids if they go to college, I would say, like, go have fun. A little bit of trouble is okay, and just know that if you fall, I'm here to have your back. Mm-hmm. I'm here to catch you.
That's so cool.
Be willing to take risks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Are you having fun right now?
Yeah, I mean, again, like I by no means do I have a bad life, right? Like I think I have a pretty,
I know your life.
I think I have a pretty decent life. But yeah, I mean, I do get a kick when I get a notification on my phone that says you've been upgraded to first class or on my plane. Or
this is fun stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, or that hotel upgrade that I got. It's fun, and I do enjoy the people that I work with for the most part. Cool. They're great. My current senior manager, Kumar, and if Kumar, you ever see this, like, shout out to you.
What's up?
You're the man. You're the man. Yeah, for sure.
All right, I got one last one before we let him off the hook. as somebody who's traveling quite a bit, do you have a either recommendation for people? Hey, you should go to this place, or, and maybe you can answer both, some place that you've been that you're going, I want to spend more personal time there and not just business time.
Is it so? I'm half of the places that I go. It's more about like the airplane experience that I get, the flight experience, than the actual destination. Hang on one second. Let me take this off my wall. So I'm a little bit of a nerd. I'm a little bit of a points guy.
No,
but I have like my status tags, my credit cards.
Is this American or Delta? That's how little I fly.
Delta.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So, Atlanta represent.
I like a lot of the great. Like I like to fly international first class, and I can't afford that.
Who wouldn't?
It's like 20 grand, right? I can't afford that, but by using like my points, I think I pay like $1,300, and an economy flight would typically cost $1,800. So I'm getting like this. I mean, I posted I think a lot of it on my story. Lenore, I don't know if you've seen
right.
one of them.
Yeah, that's right. I remember you kind of started this kind of vlog kind of thing. Okay.
Yeah,
right.
So I mean, the first class experience it's unreal. Like you have this box in the airport that says first class, and then you have your own private customs in Tokyo. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable.
We just bring 4 kids in tow and pray to God the people in front of us don't get pissed off. That's how we fly.
Every consultant on Monday morning. This might need to be edited out too, but like we hate the TSA line with kids. Like that is our because for us we have a carry-on, we just throw it there, grab it out, and then you see the families, they have to put their their shoes on, and we're just like,
yeah. I'm flying. We're flying back to Washington this summer. It'll be middle of the day though, so maybe they won't be there. But I'll just turn and go, hey, which one of you assholes works for Deloitte? Get in my line.
Exactly. Do that. Absolutely do that.
All right. Awesome. Well, Nick, it was so good to see you again. Thanks for coming on, sharing your story. And we'll make sure that we share your Instagram handle with everybody so they can follow you with all your travel tips.
I appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. Thanks, guys. It's awesome to see you again.
Okay.
Right. Take it easy.
Bye.
Take care. Bye. See you later.
All right. Well, that was Nick Loekman. That was fun. Get to see him again.
Yeah, it's been
some of the things that he was sharing.
Yeah. No, I love it. I mean, I think it's like, I think the good thing for us has been, I think we've talked about this offline a little bit, but we've had a pretty like target demographic of who we've done a lot of our shows with. Tends to be, people tend to be parents. We do a lot more women than men on the show, and so having a younger single guy, I think it's good to have that different perspective. And and I think too, just like I think it's helpful for all of us to remember we all grow up in a unique culture, and that culture shapes us for who we are. And that's just it's part of our identity. And I think it's helpful for us to really understand how and why we tick, and oftentimes that has a lot more to do with our where we were raised and how we were raised than we maybe want to admit.
I know, right? Yeah. Sure.
Deal.
All right. See you next week, everybody. Bye.
See you, everybody. Bye.